Welcome to the Gadsden Finance Department's video tutorial on how to request access to iVisions. On our Gadsden website, if we hover over Directory, go down to Departments and Services, and over to Finance, left-click Finance, this will take you to the Finance Department's homepage. At the very top, we do have the Finance Department's contacts, but if you scroll down to access the forms by left-clicking this drop-down box, scrolling to the bottom, and we're going to be accessing these three forms. Two of these forms will require the requester's signature and date, as well as one of the forms will require the additional signature from the supervisor or administrator. First, let's look at the Visions user procedures. This is an informational page only, so if you like, you can go up to the right-hand corner, left-click on that printer icon, left-click to choose the appropriate printer, and left-click Print. If you do not have this icon available, you can always right-click to open up this option box, left-click Print, left-click to choose the appropriate printer, and left-click Print. Back to our Gadsden Finance forms. We're now going to look at Visions User Confidentiality Agreement. After reviewing this information and we scroll to the bottom, we see that it has these two blue highlighted boxes showing us that this is an editable PDF. So by left-clicking within that blue box, we can then type in the required information. We can then go up to that right-hand corner, left-click on that printer icon, left-click to choose the appropriate printer, left-click Print, or again, we can always right-click, left-click Print, left-click to choose the appropriate printer, left-click Print. We can then sign this document if you're in agreement. This is one of two forms that will need to be submitted to the Associate Superintendent of Finance for review and approval. Back to our forms for our third and final, and the second document that needs to be signed and dated is the Visions User Request Form. Again, we can see that it's an editable PDF because of the blue boxes, so we left-click within the fields to type in the information. Number 2, Department. This is commonly referred to in iVisions as a DAC, capital D, capital A, capital C, DAC. For secretaries, our department is going to be our school. For directors, this will be your DAC. An important component of this form is number 3, intended system use. For secretaries, we utilize iVisions to enter recs, print POs, check open-close PO status, as well as vendor inquiries, but most importantly, we access iVisions to print our general ledger reports for administration, as well as access account transactions and balances. Directors utilize iVisions to print their general ledger reports, as well as accessing their account balances. For number 5, if you're a new user to iVisions, you're going to create a new account. If you have had access to iVisions and you're needing another DAC, you're going to modify an account and you're going to enter your user ID. If you're in agreement, you're then going to go down and you can insert the date. And if you like, you can even go down and insert the name of your supervisor. You're then going to go up to that right-hand corner, left-click on that printer icon, left-click to choose the appropriate printer, and left-click Print. Or you can always right-click, left-click Print, left-click choose the appropriate printer, left-click Print, obtain the signatures and dates. You can then scan both of those required documents, and you can email them to the Associate Superintendent for Finance, whose contact information can be found on the Finance webpage. Once the information has been reviewed and approved, you will receive an email with your login credentials. So to actually access iVisions, we're going to go back to our Gadsden homepage. We're going to hover over More, go down to Staff Resources, go down to iVisions, and left-click on iVisions. But before I do anything else, I like to bookmark this page so I don't have to go through the whole website and click, click, click. So just to bookmark this page, simply left click on this star to bookmark it. You can leave it as named login. I like to put iVisions so that I know it's the login to iVisions, and click done. So now what I've done is I've added this as a bookmark. So if I was to close this tab, I could open up a new tab, left click on my bookmark, and you can see that it takes me to this page. I didn't have to go through all of the gaps in the website. It specifically took me to my iVisions login. Here's where you will enter your credentials, and you'll click Login. At this point, you will be directed to a page where it asks you for an authentication code, to which will be emailed to your school address. Here for the authentication code, you just left click to insert that information. I've actually cut the 6-digit code from my email so I can right click and paste it, or you can enter it by hand. And then you're going to left click Authenticate. Here you can see that it takes us to a Gadsden portal. We're not quite yet in iVisions. To access iVisions, we're going to left click My Workflow. Here you can see that it takes us through the login through iVisions with the credentials we've already entered, and then it will take us to the home dashboard of iVisions, which we see here. The Gadsden Finance Department has created several useful video tutorials on how to navigate iVisions, which can be found on their website page, scrolling down to Finance Resources, and left-clicking on Finance Department Tutorial Videos. Thank you for viewing Gadsden Finance Department's video tutorial on how to request access to iVisions.